Hey guys, it's Tom Boxboy. Ruling time. In this video, we're going to be talking about the most frequent misplays that have been happening so far. Misplay, illegal play, kind of the same deal. Things that just shouldn't happen because they are bad. And we're going to be talking about Ash Blossom, Joyous Spring, Lightning Storm, and most of this video is going to be about Spyral illegal plays that have been happening, not maintaining game state, winning games because game state was not maintained, or illegal activation. We're going to be breaking all that down in this video. So for those of you guys who are aware of Spyrals or already familiar with them, we'll think about this as a review session, because even I had to take a little quick refresher on some of these and make sure that people are summoning up their quick fix correctly. Anyways, we'll break it down as we get there, but let's start off with something a little bit simpler, a bit lighter. We're going to start with Ash Blossom, Joyous Spring, and then we'll go to Lightning Storm, and then we'll tackle that big chunk. So make sure you guys hit that like button, hit subscribe for more of these kinds of ruling videos whenever they come up. Misplay number 1, Ash Blossom, Joyous Spring versus Magician's Soul. Note that Ash Blossom, Joyous Spring does negate stuff that interacts with the deck, whether it be add from the deck to the hand, send from the deck to the graveyard, or special summon directly from the deck. You are able to negate those effects. However, Magician's Soul summon effect carries a cost which sends stuff to the graveyard. It sends a level 6 or higher spellcaster. That is not something that Ash Blossom interacts with. The moment the activation of Magician's Soul's summoning effect happens, the card will be sent to the graveyard immediately, and the only card text that Ash would interact with would be the summoning of itself or the summoning of a Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl from the graveyard. However, neither of those effects are, well, messing with the deck in that case, so Ash Blossom, Joyous Spring cannot negate that. However, Ash Blossom, Joyous Spring can technically activate in response to the other effect, which is to send spells and traps to the graveyard to draw cards, as that does entail that you are adding cards from the deck to the hand, and therefore that part can be negated. So it's not like you're losing all the effects, you only lose half the effects to Ash. And similarly, that's why Verte Anaconda can't get its effect negated by Ash Blossom, because it's a cost to send that fusion spell into the graveyard so that you get your effect. This one was a bit of a salty ruling because I gave someone this ruling. They were pretty upset about it because they lost all their back row. It's Lightning Storm versus Negated Activation. Note that Lightning Storm's card text states that you can only activate one Lightning Storm per turn. However, if your activation is negated, so you negate it with a Solemn Judgment per se, and paid half your life for it, and your opponent follows up by activating another Lightning Storm, can they do that? And the answer is yes, they can. Because the activation was negated from your previous Solemn Judgment, therefore the number of activated copies of Lightning Storm is 0. Negated activation means it never happened, so doesn't count. And therefore, if you activate this Lightning Storm again to blow up all your back row, your remaining 3 back row, you will lose the remaining 3 back row unless you have like a counter trap or something that can negate the activation of that card again, or rather negate the effect of the card. Because if Lightning Storm's effect was negated by, say, like a Hope Harbinger and absorbed the card, then the activation was not negated, so it did go through, therefore it counts towards that once per turn activation, and you will not get your whole board blown up because of that. So that's a pretty big deal for anyone playing back row decks, because Solemn Judgment's at 3. A lot of the counter traps are right now all at 3, and I see why it's so tempting to do so. And even for your monsters like Fiendus, like Subterra Fiendus, I believe that also negates the activation, so yes, again, it won't count towards that. This is like a follow-up ruling to, say, like the Pot of Duality situation, where Pot of Duality does state you can only activate it once per turn. However, if the activation was negated by something like Dark Bribe or something like Evolzor Lagia, then yeah, you can activate another copy and try to fetch another card. So anyways, that's a precedent ruling for that one. Okay, we're gonna do Spyral illegal plays and misplays right now, and the thing that annoys me the most is even within online videos of matches, online videos of people demonstrating the combos, demonstrating how to play the deck, illegal plays have been happening. And I want to bring that all to the forefront, because one illegal play in Spyrals, and because a lot of their nature is not once per turn, they abuse it to the point where they gain massive advantage. They can OTK or suppress someone from even being able to play, even though the entire play was illegal. So we got to make sure that this does not happen to you. You don't deserve to lose like this. So let's get to it. Let's start with Quick Fix. 2 things to note about Quick Fix. First of all, whenever it uses its own effect to summon itself out, when it leaves the field, it gets banished. If you forget that, it's a pretty big deal, because you're gonna be able to get free pluses. Those pluses are illegal pluses. Your Quick Fix is supposed to be banished already, and Yeah, drawing one additional card is already gonna cause you a game loss. Imagine like just getting like 5-6 pluses off of the entire Spyral combo because of one illegal summon. That's not exactly a repairable game state at that point, and you would have burned the clock as well, which is pretty annoying. Second thing to note is probably the more important thing to note, and drill this one into your head, guys, because I've seen this happen in online videos, many online videos already, and even some live matches. You cannot activate Spyral Quick Fix without a super agent on the field. It sounds so simple, but people tend to forget. They're in the middle of like doing their combo, they lose track of it, and then they summoned it out onto the field without realizing that, hey, I don't actually have a valid summoning condition for my quick fix just yet. I can't activate it, and they do so anyway. And that leads to a full combo sometimes. Sometimes it leads to like an Appaloosa that's not even supposed to be on the field. There's a lot of that stuff going on, and I want to make sure that that just doesn't happen anymore. Your live duels will no longer get ruined by an illegal play like that. Yeah, so that's a pretty big one, I would say. And one note that does happen is that if your double helix gets negated, it doesn't carry that name anymore. It doesn't carry the name of being a super agent, and because it is not a super agent, you cannot discard to summon out the quick fix. I've seen people do that. They get their double helix impermanence and they're like, well, I guess I'll just dig out another red card and they'll keep going. Yeah, you can't do that because that's no longer an option for you. It's gone, it's dead. You have to find some way to put a super agent or a tough on the field that doesn't get itself negated, and then you can continue from there. But that is probably the biggest one and the most frequent one that I've seen everywhere, and make sure you don't get cheated by that, because if you do, it's a full combo that leads to an OTK. This next one is a bit of a misplay on people using DD Crow versus Spyral Mission Rescue. So Spyral Mission Rescue being a trap card with a grave activated effect, that grave activated effect is considered as spell speed 2. Note that that effect is also not once per turn at all, so you can banish every single copy you have and basically use it as a spiral based monster reborn to revive your cards. So the misplay starts to happen here, people preemptively activating their DD Crow, targeting either the rescue so that their opponent cannot use the rescue, or they're targeting whatever that rescue may revive, such as a monster like Quick Fix that's a one of. The problem is, because rescue is in fact a spell speed 2 effect, it can chain onto your DD Crow and then target the other monster and then summon it out. So it will always outspeed your DD Crow. Therefore, DD Crow has to be more of a reactive card after your opponent has chosen their target, then you DD Crow it, or else you will completely miss the mark, and that would really suck because you would give yourself a neg1. The other guy would basically get a plus on the free summon and a plus on the free add of, say, Quick Fix or even Master Plan. It's very important that you catch that timing right, especially with DD Crow. It's very much similar to Spyrals. You have to wait for the right timing, or else all those quick effects are just going to completely bypass your ability to banish them, and that's going to create a very big limitation, especially when most of these card effects, they're not once per turn. This next illegal play comes from Spyral Sleeper. To get into the scenario, the typical one would be that you just got hit by an evenly match, your Tri-Gate was baited, and now you only have a Sleeper on the field. And as your opponent tries to progress their board, you decided to activate the effect of Sleeper, popping itself and 2 of your opponent's cards. And then you proceed to summon out a Spyral Super Agent, which is part of the card text, as it does state, if this card is destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, you know, blah 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 blah, special summon out one Spyral Super Agent from your hand, deck, or grave. But that blah 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 was kind of important. It states that destroy as many cards you control as possible, and if you do, special summon out one Spyral Super Agent from your hand, deck, or grave. That "and if you do" a conjunction has not been met, because if Spyral Sleeper does not destroy any cards with his grave trigger, then you did not destroy any cards at all. Therefore, you don't get the "and if you do" part, which is special summoning out a Spyral Super Agent from your hand, deck, or grave. Typically, people summon out the double helix back out so that they can revive more and more cards, retrieve more and more cards. Yeah, that's not going to be a possibility because that was an illegal play. A lot of people tend to summon out. We've seen some in videos already. So make sure that if you are going to be using Sleeper, make sure it destroys at least one card to get the effect off. Finally, we're at Arf Thou. There's 2 things to know about Arf Thou. First one is that you need another level 1 to activate this card. I've seen people just activate it, add Magician's Soul, let's go, baby. Yeah, that's not how it works. That's just completely wrong. It does state that you must control a level 1 monster first before you're able to activate this card to search another level 1. So you must have a Quick Fix, Drones, DD Crow, Effect Veiler already on the field. for you to activate this card to search the Magician's Soul. Or rather, if you already have the Magician's Soul, you can use it to search the Quick Fix and you will be able to normal summon. And then you won't take the 2000 damage. And speaking of the 2000 damage, make sure that your opponent does take the 2000 damage. I've seen someone actually get a draw because they completely forgot that they were supposed to be 2000 life short after passing turn. And since Spyral is such a combo heavy deck and the comboing takes such a long time, playing into time is pretty common. And if they use Arf Thou and they did not normal summon, they deserve to lose. Like once they go to the end of the phase, remember it's till the end of the phase, they take the damage and they lose. It was as simple as that. They're like, the guy's trying to stall for time. It didn't really work out in his favor. I'm like, dude, you just took 2000 damage. You just lost. That was funny. That was like instant karma for people not maintaining their game state. But it does come up because the combos are so long. And I'm just passing it off to you guys. Make sure you guys remember that Arf Thou deals 2000 damage if they did not normal summon out the card that they searched. That's basically it, guys. And also, yeah, that card, I believe it's also not once per turn. So you summon one, you don't summon the other, you'll still take burn damage from one of them. All right, sounds good. All right, that's all I got for this video, guys. If you guys enjoyed the ruling, make sure you keep up with a lot of the Spyral stuff because they are technically, by my books, they are tier 0 and they are all over the place. Make sure you catch up on your opponent and doing a lot of this stuff. That's all I got for this one. If you guys enjoyed this ruling segment, hit that thumbs up button. If you guys want to see more stuff from MST.TV, hit the subscribe button. It is a bit of a Spyral week right now. I will be showing you guys the variations on Spyral boards that people can develop. A lot of people have been only showing that one board. Yeah, that board is very strong, but there are other boards that you can do that is a bit more harsh and a bit meaner to, say, some of these control-based decks, and maybe you want to specifically use Curious to dig out a floodgate, and I'll show you all of that in an upcoming video as well. So stay tuned for that, hit the subscribe, ding notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next one.